I want to share some wisdom that I gained while reading in the book of Mosiah from the Book of Mormon concerning a young man by the name of Ammon who had become converted to the gospel of Jesus Christ. And he wanted to go and share the gospel with those people who pretty much didn't like him and pretty much would be more than willing to kill him. And so where's the wisdom in wanting to do something like that? That's you really got to have a appreciation for your fellow beings. Anyway, the points that I draw out of this story and the wisdom is that he knew where he wanted to go. He had others who were willing to support and had a similar desire as him. So he wasn't in it alone. He had other people who he could encourage, and they would encourage him. So there was power in being more than one. Even though he wasn't sure how to get to where he wanted to go, that didn't stop him. Not knowing the course did not stop him and the group from starting the journey. Does that sound familiar to anything you got to do during the day sometimes, or if you're changing a job or something, or you're not good at where you want, or you want to do something that you've always wanted to do but you haven't done? You're not necessarily going to know the end before the beginning, but you know what you want. You may not necessarily know how you're going to get there, but not knowing can't stop you. But also having others who think you've got a good idea to encourage you, you want to have those around you. Well, and so they started their journey. And it didn't just happen. It didn't happen a day or two or whatever. They wandered around a little bit, probably made some mistakes, turned back and forth, had to make sure, avoid contentions. What do you mean? I didn't mean, whatever. Anyway, they spent 40 days trying to go where they, to get to where they wanted to go, to do what they wanted to do. After those 40 days, they stopped. They said, wait a minute, well, we're going to camp out here. And they did. And they regrouped, reorganized, and then, was going to make some plans. They were in an area that was somewhat familiar. I mean, they had lived around there, but they didn't know exactly where they were going or what to look for. So Ammon and a couple of the young men who traveled with him, who he trusted, traveled down to an area where there were some people, probably people amongst those who weren't overly thrilled with them, but they went down there to inquire, where could we go? Where could we find, kings and people who would be running a city or something like that? Where would these cities be? What are they called type thing? Where am I going to go? And again, let's step back. Let's bring it to 2023, 2024, right? If you want to do something and there's something you've always wanted to do, you have a desire to do it, and you've got people who will support you and back you on it and encourage you to do it, don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to find people to get a little help. You're not asking people to do it for you. You're just needing a little more direction because, like I said, most of the time when you're going to do something really fantastic, it's going to turn out great. When you started, you had an idea, but you didn't know exactly the path you would have to take, or exactly what you'd have to go through, or exactly how long or where you were going to end up. Exactly. Well, that's a lot of exactlies. So in the story, going on with Ammon, they didn't have a guaranteed outcome. And when they left part of their group to go find out, it took a few days, so everyone had to trust everybody here. And that's what I mean. You have to have people who have a similar desire, who who kind of understand what you're doing and realize that not everybody can do exactly the same thing all the time in order for something to work out. For Ammon and his friends in the group, they were going to have to create a base camp, and then they had to go out and figure out, after they wandered around, they had to, okay, we need to stop wandering and go get some help. And that's what happened. And it took a few days to figure out their new direction. And in the story with Ammon and his friends that went with him, they ended up their trek and their success that they experienced was tremendous. It was also 14 years. It took them 14 years to accomplish the task that they wanted to accomplish. And they didn't even know if it could be done when they started, other than they had a burning desire to do so. And they had people who would support them in a decision that, if the outcome happened, was very good. So, and they didn't do it alone. All of them were Christians. They were people who believed in Christ. There were people who believed that he would help them, and they prayed, and they didn't wander aimlessly. They didn't necessarily know where they were going, but they knew that together and through prayer and through a righteous desire, they would be able to accomplish the task before them. I just wanted to share that. I think it was really, really cool. It's a simple story. It takes a few chapters in the book of Mosiah, but it helps us today, if we'll take time to think about it, to realize anything that's good that we're going to benefit from and we're going to help others to benefit isn't going to happen in 1 or 2 days. It isn't going to happen in 1 week. It's going to take time. It's going to take support. It's going to take a little planning and a little determination and consistency to stick to your desire. Anyway, I just wanted to share this. Thank you very much. You have a great day. This is Roger checking out on Calm Waters. Thank you.